Gentleman yields back in the chair's discretion. We'll do another round of questioning for the witnesses, so I'll recognize myself for 5 minutes. Ms. Harrington.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, perhaps the chair could do another round of questions.
You don't care to?
If I do have some time constraints.
No one has to stay. No one has to stay, and we're not going to be long. But I've got another 5 minutes. And you
yes,
don't
sir.
Have to stay.
Yeah, no objection to that. No objection to that.
All right, good. Thanks, sir. And it's at the election of every member whether they have further questions they want to ask, and so the chair will ask 5 minutes of questioning. If you restore my time to 5 minutes, please. Ms. Harrington, you've referenced a number of times that CISA operates a rumor control website where you correct things you've identified that are misinformation. You understand from the prior testimony and the questions of members, no one has an objection to CISA having a website publishing what it contends are corrections of rumors that are false, right? You understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand what the committee is concerned about in terms of CISA's prior conduct? Or do you find, are you unaware of the subject matter that we're concerned about?
I am aware. I'm aware of what you're concerned about, censorship, essentially. I'm aware of that.
Okay. And do I understand your testimony previously be that CISA really hasn't changed its policies to avoid censoring?
Representative, respectfully, we don't censor.
Okay.
I can tell you what we are doing.
Okay, now hold on a second. So do you know what switchboarding is?
I was made familiar with that recently. I was not at the agency when that.
Okay, I'm really talking about CISA, not really talking about specific to your career. Obviously, you're here as a representative of CISA. Did CISA switchboard?
Yes, but please allow me to explain what I understand that.
Well, I just want to know, because I understand we may get lost in exactly what switchboarding kind of includes, but you have a notion in your mind of what it is. Is CISA continuing to switchboard?
CISA is not switchboarding. CISA is not sending emails on behalf of election officials from both parties to social media companies. Okay. That is not happening.
When did CISA stop switchboarding?
My understanding, although it predates me, is that CISA stopped after the 20 cycle.
Why did it stop?
Representative, respectfully, again, this predates me, but my understanding is that CISA makes decisions to prioritize efforts based on where the most impact is and to align resources with priorities, and that was an agency decision. Again, that predates me, but my understanding is it has stopped and it is no longer happening now, and it stopped in the 20 cycle.
See, my concern is if CISA stopped switchboarding because it thought switchboarding was a questionable practice or one that was exceedingly disapproved of, then that might satisfy me more. But what I understand you're saying is it's simply a resource allocation or prioritization determination, so you could resume switchboarding next week if you want to. Is that what you think?
Representative, respectfully, I understand that was an agency decision. Again, it predates me, and that activity is not occurring.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked you. I asked you whether you believe it to be true that CISA could resume switchboarding next week.
Representative, again, switchboarding is not occurring, and that stopped in the 20 cycle. Forwarding emails to social media, a limited number of emails from both parties to social media companies
in that
not
case,
happening.
You would agree with me, would you not, that there's no reason that Congress shouldn't restrict CISA's authority to make sure that it cannot switchboard, since you're not doing it, right?
Representative, we are not censoring.
So we can provide that in law, make sure that that's a clear guardrail, correct?
Representative, respectfully, it's already in law.
Oh, really?
That we shouldn't censor, it's the First Amendment.
But you shouldn't switchboard. I agree. I mean, that you've kind of hit the nail on the head with that.
We are not censoring.
Because the problem is...
CISA doesn't censor.
The problem is whether switchboarding is censoring. And I think you just conflated the two, which is exactly the problem. Let me ask this question. Is CISA meeting on a regular basis with social media platforms?
CISA does not meet with social media platforms.
You said does not. did it meet with social media platforms on a periodic basis?
I understand that it was meeting with them at a time, yes.
Monthly and then weekly during the run-up to the 2020 elections, correct?
I am not certain on completely what that cadence is.
Okay, I'll represent to you that that's what it was, since you don't know, but you should. They met with them monthly and then weekly leading up to the 2020 elections. Are those sorts of periodic meetings with social media companies still going on?
Representative, CISA's not meeting with social media companies.
Why did you stop?
I understand that that activity stopped in October of 2022.
Why?
Because the staff were communicating information to interagency partners as well as social media companies on basic 101 election information, and it was not good use of their time given other priorities that would yield an impact.
All right, my 5 minutes of questioning the second round has expired. Mr. Ivey, you don't have further questions?
No.
All right, in that case, I thank these witnesses for your valuable testimony and the members for their questions. The members of the subcommittee may have additional questions for the witnesses, and we would ask the witnesses to respond to those in writing. Pursuant to Committee Rule 7D, the hearing record will be held open for 10 days. Without objection, this committee stands adjourned, subcommittee stands